All right. So yeah, thanks guys for coming. The reason that I'm passionate about this topic of productivity and kind of organization is because I hate being frantic when I'm trying to find details about a project or trying to find information that I'm supposed to have, and I don't like redoing work. So sometimes I might figure out how to do something, maybe with special software, and then 6 months later or a year later, forgetting and needing to re-figure it out. Like that's just a lot of wasted time. Clean out my camper RV water softener. I mean, always having to go and like look up on the internet, like search how do I redo this,
Regen.
regen the water softener. I don't like, or yeah, I like a plan that is thought out because those plans just have a lot better chance of succeeding. And I like to use my brain to think about important stuff versus trying to remember all the stuff that I already did kind of figure out. And so that's kind of why I decided to create this getting things done dashboard. About 2 months ago, I had what's called a solo day. So I kind of went away for the day by myself to kind of think. And I felt really overwhelmed because I had a lot of projects, work projects that were getting close to being due. And I just felt kind of disorganized with with priorities, what I should be doing, what can wait, what I can push off. And so I reread the book Getting Things Done and or listen to it if you want to be technical. And I'd read it probably not a year earlier, but at least more than half a year earlier, and I had tried to implement some of these getting things done methods into the current software I was using, which was Basecamp, and it just didn't really work that well. And I'll go into details kind of why it didn't work. Um, But yeah, over the years, I've used a bunch of different software for project, task, resource management. I've used Kanban Flow, Airtable, Basecamp, Trello, Evernote, Apple Notes, ClickUp. And all these tools are really good at some things, but they just didn't quite cut it with a cohesive system that could handle everything that I wanted it to do. One of the things with Basecamp in particular is that I wanted to be able to look at my tasks for the day, even if they were in different projects. And there wasn't a good way to like have that in a list where I could just like see, these are the 3 or 5 things I'm supposed to be doing today. I'd have to go to that project and find it in there, but then it was easy to kind of forget the other important things that I was supposed to be doing that day, and easy to kind of get lost in that project. Some of the other shortcomings of some of these programs are they don't really handle project resources that well or general resources that well. And I'll get into like what some of these things are. So that was kind of yeah, 2 or so months ago, actually more than that now, was kind of the reason I really built this dashboard and really implemented the GTD system as well as I could. And I think it's pretty solid. So now you can see your papers now. So like what introducing the GTD, this is on your handout here. The GTD methodology is really just about organizing stuff. And this framework or system, it isn't specific to any certain kind of people or industries or job titles. It can work for farmers, digital marketers, even stay-at-home moms. And it is a central hub. Um, Oops. It is a central hub for kind of your life. And the reason that it's important to have a hub and to be organized is that you can find what you need quickly, easily, and you can take action on it. And this lets you have more brain power for thinking with the things that really matter, not rethinking the same things that you already thought and figured out before. And so organizing stuff, like, well, what is the stuff? It could be, bills you have to pay, could be quotes to send, things to order, ideas about a new product, a question you want to ask your buddy the next time you go fishing with him. It could be doing performance reviews. It could be writing job descriptions, buying equipment, etc. There's just so much stuff, information really. But you get it, or like, yeah, the question is like, how do you get all this stuff? I should put this in presenter mode. There we go. So how do you get this stuff? You get it in inboxes and your email inbox. Like we often don't, or I never really thought of it that way, but it is an inbox. You can get it from text messages. You can get it from the USPS and the physical mail. Might be a reminders app that pops up. Might be sticky notes, etc. You get this stuff in some form of an inbox. And then what do you do with it? Like that's a big question. How do you categorize all this stuff? My favorite categorization is like the trash. Some of the stuff just gets pitched right away. You don't actually need it. Some of the stuff goes in your calendar, and that's for things that need to happen at a certain date or certain day and or time. And I used to actually use my calendar kind of as my, like, I'd put everything in my calendar, not necessarily like meetings, but I would put in, from 6 to 6:30 a.m. go on a walk, and then from 6:30 to 7 have devotions, from 7 to 7:30 breakfast, and then from 8 to 10 work on this project, and then from 10 to noon work on this other project. And people do that. It's called time blocking, and it left me feeling really busy. Like it felt like I had no free time, and I ended up hating it. And I'm not sure how like closely I even stuck with it, but I did not like it. My favorite mornings are when I wake up, look at my calendar, and there's just nothing there. Those are my favorite days. So another categorization for this stuff is next actions, and a task would be another word for it, next action or task, and it's just the next thing that you need to do to move something forward. So it could be email Lauren about hunting blind photo shoot. Another kind of like way to organize this stuff is like maybe it's actually bigger than just one next action. Maybe it's a project. So a project is anything that has more than one next action and has a start and an end date. And yeah. And another thing maybe you got an email with a quote that you could ask for, and it might be related to a project. So that would be like a project resource. And so email is not a good place to like use as your resource library. It's not a file management. Like some people use it kind of as like file management, but that's not really what it's intended for. It's a communication tool. It's meant to like send stuff and receive stuff. It's not great at just storing stuff, especially if you go and switch computers and then trying to copy everything over and keep it organized the way you had it. It just doesn't work well. And if you ever try to upgrade your software, it can be a nightmare. Another category is a general resource. So this is just something that doesn't pertain to any particular project, but it might be how to regen the water softener. And it might just be a link to the manufacturer's PDF. It's not necessarily always like something you're writing out, but it's just a place for you to store it where you can find it easily. It might also be an agenda item. So like I was mentioning the example of something you wanted to ask or bring up with your buddy the next time you go fishing, like maybe it's an agenda that should go for that person or a meeting with that group of people. And it could also just be an idea that should go in someday, maybe. So it's stuff you don't want to forget about, but stuff that you're not going to like take action on or work on right now. And again, like email is not, email is an inbox. It's not, task management. It's not resource storing tool. It's just an inbox. Does all of that make sense? Any questions or thoughts on that? Okay, the next thing, your next actions, like that's the work you're doing. Those are the things you're getting done. And some of your next actions can only be done in certain places. And so that's where context comes in. So for example, like one of your next actions might be to run an errand for something, pick something up at Ace Hardware. And you don't need to be like looking at that all day long on your list, but you do want to have it ready so that when you are going to run an errand, you can quickly like see that list. Or maybe it's the next action that should happen at home or while you're at your computer, or phone calls to make. I have one for at mom and dad's. So that when I go over there, there's just often there's things I want to either pick up when I'm there or do when I'm there. And so I'll just add the context at mom and dad's, and then when I'm over there, I'll just look at the next actions that are in that list, and I very easily remember to do those things and find that stuff. There's also a context called waiting for, because sometimes even though you're responsible for this next action, sometimes you're waiting for someone else. For example, I might be working on a website to fix why the website is not sending emails out, and I may be waiting on customer support from, I might be waiting from customer support to respond to my ticket before I can do something with it. And so in order, one of the important things with GTD is that you want to see what's relevant and what you can take action on right now. You don't want to have a bunch of extra stuff that doesn't really pertain to you. And so if you say, hey, this next action I'm waiting for, it'll disappear out of your main list. And we'll look at that here in a little bit, so that you only see currently what you can actually move forward. And you can also very easily then switch over and look at everything that is waiting for someone. And at the end of the day is usually what I do, just go through that list and just follow up with anyone that I'm waiting on a response from them or waiting on them for something. As far as projects, we did kind of touch on this here, but a project, is anything, if there's more than one related next action, it should just be a project. And a project is like a container, and with it, you have a start date and an end date, and you can also, you also should define like what the purpose is for it and what the outcome looks like. What does done look like? Because there's nothing worse than a project that when there's unclarity around like what's it supposed to look like once it's done, you can keep on kind of going on and on and on if it's not defined. This is what done looks like. And so that just helps kind of protect your time, so that especially when it's a project you're working with someone, and even yourself too, because you could be like, we want to replace this wall, and you could keep on, initially you could be thinking, we're just going to just paint the wall. And then as it gets close to that time, you may be thinking, well, we want to put up some kind of siding, or we want to put a window into it. And all of a sudden, what you were thinking was going to take 2 weeks or 3 weeks might take 2 to 3 months, because you keep on adding to it. And that's part of just good planning too, is like think about what do I want this to look like when it's done. And so all of this might, like, I don't know if this feels like a lot or not, but it really comes down to like implementing the GTD system is actually simple if you stay on top of it. And it just takes two things: the daily review, where you go through, check your calendar, clear out your inboxes, and set your MITs for the day. And then the second one is the weekly review. And that one it goes a little more in depth, but I'll look at the upcoming week in your calendar, and you review your projects. Make sure there's nothing in there that should just be like marked as complete. Maybe something actually did get done that you forgot to mark as done. Delete files from your desktop downloads folder, and review your someday maybe list. So this is just kind of a tidying up at the end of the week to make sure, nothing, and also just make sure nothing got missed. Something that the GTD system is not for is it's not made to collaborate with others. Like, it is meant for you to use with work, at home, like use it together. But you can share things with people, but it's not really, that's not its strength. Like, its strength is like for you to like know what's going on and have a good picture of everything. Does that make sense? Are there anything? Is there anything what's the least clear in your mind about any of that?
Well, you're basically it's designed to categorize your day, right? I mean, in a sense, as far as
Dana showed me a little bit on his computer. Like, when did you talk with him about it? Like a month ago or something?
Probably a month now.
He showed me just a little bit and explained it a little bit, but I think he was still not sure about it.
Okay.
He's like, I don't know what I'm doing exactly, but he's finishing it out. Like, figuring it out. But yeah, it looked pretty sweet. But.
Okay. So this system, it does not need to be used with Notion. You could do it literally with like paper. You could print everything out and have physical folders for it and use the system that way. You have a folder for your next actions, a folder for like agenda for a certain person. But the power of Notion is that it's just an app that you can use to build a lot of different stuff, but it's very powerful because it's based on databases, and so then the databases can like talk to each other, and you can customize them. So even yeah, there's a bunch of keyboard shortcuts and cool things you can do with Notion, but you don't really need to know any of that to get started using it. And as you use it, you'll figure things out that actually make it even more powerful and useful. Their search and AI is pretty good. Their search is actually really good. If you're searching for something, does a great job of finding it. And the AI, which is not in the free version, but the AI also does a good job of just summarizing stuff. So one example is um, I manage a Google Ads campaign, and I have updates every couple weeks that I put in there. And I was gone on vacation and came back, and I couldn't really remember exactly what all the updates were that I had done. So I just asked the AI, "Can you summarize the updates for last month?" It just spit out a little summary of everything. So to me, it's worth it, but I would start just with the free version, and then if you get to a point where, um, yeah, the paid version makes sense, then go with the paid version.
Could you use this to like make a budget?
Um,
Like
you
exactly, that's what I need.
Explain.
Like if you have like this bill's gonna come up every month or whatever in here, could you tell how much it is and then you could add those
you probably
together?
could, but I wouldn't.
Okay.
There's better apps for budgeting than this here because this is not tied to your bank, where you could view when things get paid. Like you could plan out a budget really easy. You could have it say, this is a weekly invoice or monthly or annual invoice, and this is how it's
But like
categorized.
it's tied to your email, right?
No,
Oh, it
Is it
isn't.
tied to calendar or anything, or is it?
they have an email app and they have a calendar app, but I haven't used either one.
So it doesn't send you like you can't set to send you like actual notifications on like your to
You
notify you of certain of certain events or even
you
certain
can yeah
meetings.
you can set reminders. I don't use it that way. I use it where like I go into it and look at it
You
for the
actually
day.
physically look
Yeah.
at keep track.
But yeah, you can set reminders to, I don't know if they'll email to you, but for sure, like in the app, and when you have the page open, like it'll show a red dot that you have a notification.
Okay.
All right, so I think, yeah, let's go ahead and get started implementing your GTD dashboard. Um, The first thing that there's some dummy data in there, and I'll walk you through deleting it, and then we'll add some sample stuff while you're doing that. So does everyone have the blueprint link for this? All right, so I'll just do a quick overview of this, and then we'll go through and delete everything and start adding some stuff. So these are just panels here that you can expand. And so the reason I put them in toggles is just like to keep it more tidy and clean. But here's where you would go, like I would do it in the morning, just go in here and like add a new one. Below that is today's next actions. So this will show things that are either overdue or due today that are not complete. So if something's like has a date from yesterday but it's complete, then it doesn't show up here. And then below that you can see your next actions in the calendar. So the first one just shows like this week, but you can switch to like monthly, and then you can also just like go, to a date if you'd want to. And once we start adding stuff in, then you'll see it pop up there. Next actions without deadlines. This is kind of, so sometimes you have next actions that they don't need to be done by a certain date or time. It's just next time I'm at mom and dad's, or next time I'm by the boat or out on the lake, whatever. And so these are next actions that do not have deadlines and are not part of a project, because you could also have next actions that are part of a project, and those are going to get covered. Like you're going to see the projects. The ones that like are concerning that you might miss sometime are ones that are not part of a project and don't have a due date or deadline. And so that's mainly why I use this list, just to make sure that I didn't forget to add a deadline to something or add it to a project. And then here's the project's timeline. So here you can see just like, in a timeline. So, and you can see like work, home, family, health and fitness. There's different areas of life that you can kind of organize your projects by. And then the bottom one, the projects triage, these are projects that you want to start but don't have a due date or a deadline yet. So basically, it's kind of like a placeholder a little bit that you just don't know when to do it, but it's something you want to do. So let's go ahead and just delete all the dummy data. And so over on the right-hand side, you'll see where it says databases. And earlier I said that Notion is like powered by like databases, like pages are in databases. So if you click on the first one, you can kind of see like I've got 3 samples there. You can just select all those by clicking on the top here and then just trash them. And then these are breadcrumbs up here at the top left. This will take you back to the main dashboard. And then you can go to next actions and you can do the same thing there. You can do the check mark there to select all and then delete them. And then kind of same thing for agendas.
How do you get that?
In the top left corner, there's that GTD blueprint.
Like stuff is like, oh yeah, I should click on that. I got you. Oh, I need a mouse.
And there is nothing in Someday Maybe. And not, oh yeah, there isn't project resources. So on project resources, the first view here of the database is called active. So these would be projects that are not complete. But if you click on the All tab, this will show like everything that is a project resource. So make sure you select all there to see all these here. And then you can delete those. And then, yeah, same thing with general resources. Actually, it looks like there aren't any general resources added. And you don't have to delete anything out of areas. But if you do go to the daily review, there is one in there. Okay, so now, yeah, it should all be, did you get it all cleared out, Theodore and Johnny?
Mm-hmm.
No.
And you guys can go change this name if you want. You can remove the blueprint from it, so it just says GTD. You could call it dashboard.
What GTD? What is that?
Getting things done. All right, so let's go ahead and just add, one of the easiest things is agenda topics and questions. So there's no like quick access to it in the main screen. To get to the agendas, it's over on the right-hand side. So go ahead and click on it, and then just add, is there someone you have in mind that you wanted to ask them about something, either a question or talk about them with something?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have someone?
Yeah.
Okay, so put in, just, you can hit the new button there, and then you can put in like the new agenda for the meeting or person. If it's a group of people, I'm just gonna make one up. I'm gonna say it is the touchdown marketing. Actually, let's do Studio 331 marketing meeting. And then below, if you expand properties there, there's a property called members. And the reason this is helpful, so I'll put in the people's names that are in here. And the reason I do that is because if I'm going, like, if I have a long list of agenda items, which I probably have 50, I can go here to the search bar and I can just type in Lucretia, and it will, which that's the only one. So it'll find anything that's matching in there. Where if it's like, if the name is like a company name, like it won't know that it's Lucretia's part of it or a certain person's part of it. So if it's just someone's name, I'll just go in here and like, let's just say I've got one for Theodore. You don't have to put in like Theodore as the member there. Like the main purpose of that is just so you can quickly like search for it and quickly find it. And so the way that the agenda is set up is there is like a column for agenda, and then there's a column for resolved. And basically you would just thing I want to talk to them about. And then I would just mark it as done and just drag it over to resolved, just to kind of like, this is meant for just like quick things you want to cover with people, like not necessarily really, really in-depth agendas. But you could use it with in-depth agendas too. Does that make sense?
So you just put in the thing you want to talk to them about. You put in as an agenda item.
Underneath the agenda column here, like right here.
Yeah.
Like this is an agenda. Like this is Theodore's agenda here, and this is the Studio 331 marketing agenda. Like my agenda with that person or that those people.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense, Johnny?
I think so. You're saying the members. I'm trying to figure out like your. So you added Theodore underneath. That's for a different agenda, or is that part of the marketing meeting?
No, that's a different one.
Okay.
And so like, if I'd go over here, like I'd have Johnny, and these are sorted by like the most recently edited one is what's going to show up at the top, which is usually what's best because it's usually the most relevant stuff is going to be at the top.
So when you check off that agenda, it automatically goes over to
No, you have to drag it over. So if you like mark it as done, then you can just grab the hamburger and then drag it over to resolved.
Okay.
And it's still like there under resolved. Like you could delete it if you'd want to, but sometimes it's nice just to be able to like remember if you did talk to them for sure about that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sitting the resolve thing. You just when you have your to do or your item things when they're done, like because mine's set up different than that. I mean, it's my resolve at the bottom. It's the same thing, right? So you just drag it over.
It might just be like your window might be smaller.
The window's way smaller.
And if you drag this over here, then you can adjust that slider. But yeah, if you mark it, like I would mark it as done if you talked about it, and you can drag like multiple ones. Like I can highlight those. Oops, not that. Highlight those two, and then drag it over here. So next, let's go back to the main dashboard, and let's set up your daily review template. So expand where it says daily review. Until you see something like this here. And if you click, don't click new, but click the little sidebar beside it, and it will show you templates for daily review. And there's an empty one, but there's one that's created there called weekday. If you go ahead and just click on it, and it will create a new page based on the template. And
so if you just hit new, it won't use that template.
It will because it's the default.
Okay.
But there's some, you'll probably, like not in daily review, you'll probably just have one template. But in your next actions, you'll probably end up having 10 to maybe more. So this, if you expand the startup checklist, it kind of walks you through like what you're supposed to do on your daily review. So the first thing it says is change the name of the page to today's weekday. So all you do is just go up here and change it to Tuesday, and then check that as done. Write morning brain dump is the second little checkbox. And if you don't, like this is where you can edit it and you don't have to do this. I have it in there, and like I'll just write down what's on my mind, like usually not more than 2 sentences. What's on my mind, and something maybe that I was thinking about that I don't want to forget. It might be a next action to add or something to take care of. And so I'll just like write in 2 sentences usually in the morning. And you can just remove that when you edit your template. You can just remove it if you want to.
Is this like I'm feeling good today, or is this like I need to? Or is this only work related?
It is sometimes like looking forward to like going fishing with Johnny. Like I'll put in like whatever's just on my mind, just like, and I don't spend a lot of time on it. Like literally, like whatever's on my mind. If there's nothing on it, I'll just say looking forward to working on X project.
Okay.
Or so the other thing I do is I'll check today's calendar. So just like so I know, do I have meetings today? Do I have something going on? So check that. And then I have clear inboxes, and I have like several inboxes that I check every morning. Like one is like notifications from Basecamp, that project management tool I was talking about. I'll check GroupMe, Telegram, my main email. I've got several emails. I'll just check my main email. So a handful of stuff that I'll check and then mark as done. And then I'll clear them out. So like I'll check it and like if there's something in my email that needs to be next action, it's the next action. What?
If you edit in here, it won't edit the template.
Correct. This is not editing the template. That is what we're going to do next, though. But the last step there I have is set today's MITs, and I just have like a little note there. Make sure these can get done. Make the scope smaller if necessary. I have a hard time doing that. I usually try to have too much for a day, and it just doesn't get done. And then the shutdown checklist is for at the end of the day coming back to it. And I do not do this most days, to be honest. But it is a nice thing to come back to, and like maybe like one of the things is like follow up with anyone. So go to your waiting for and just see if there's anyone you need to follow up for. So it's a good, and again, you can customize this to what you want it to be. You could check your reminders again, your email, etc. So let's go, and you can edit this at any point. Let's go and just edit it to where you think you want it now. And to edit a template, close out of this window or page, and then hit the drop down next to new, and then hit the 3 dots beside weekday, and it basically says edit this template. And then you have to click edit. And so now it looks a little bit different. There's like that orange bar at the top to indicate that this is a template you're editing. So now you can go down and you can change the startup checklist. You can add more to it if you want to. You can remove stuff from it. You can edit the shutdown checklist. And so, yeah, take a few minutes and just like tweak it to what you think right now you think you would want it to be. I mean, one of the things I have is had devotions and prayer time. And I don't use like, there's been a few, yeah, usually I try to have it beforehand, but if I do get to it, it is just like a reminder like, oh yeah, I didn't do that this morning yet. So it could be anything. It could be personal, work-related, could be go on a walk. There is a lot of beauty in doing it for personal too, because you'd be surprised how much stuff you got going on personally that it can be helpful for.
Now, if I do something every single day, should I put it in here, or should I just keep it in reminders and then just make sure I check it off?
What do you mean in reminders? Oh, on your phone?
Yeah.
I
like feed the horses.
Yeah. So, and you have it pop up like it notifies you, feed the horses. I stopped using the reminders app with any notifications anymore. And then every morning I'll go look at it and do it. So I would actually probably make it.
But see, I want to be like, throughout the day, I want to look at it like, shoot, I didn't do the horses yet. I need to go do that.
Yeah. I would probably have it as a check. Do you usually do it before you even get to your computer for the morning?
Yeah, but I should probably start getting my computer if I do this.
I would put it in here because like some of the stuff that I do before I even get here. It's just like, oh yeah, I did do that, or I didn't do that, and I need to go do it.
Okay.
But the problem with using notifications on your phone is that it ends up like distracting you and dictating you when you should be working. And so ideally, you're deciding when you're going to do the work. You're not waiting for a notification to tell you when to do the work.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, what are MITs?
Most important tasks. So, and you should probably limit this to like probably not more than 3. 1 to 3 probably.
How do you save this thing?
You just click out of it, like it will save. So once you're done, delete like the first one you did.
Okay.
Because that one, we just kind of did it for fun. And then you could either hit new for this one, or you could just wait until tomorrow and then do it for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and add the first next action. So yeah, next action, it is a task. But so what's something that
you add this every morning?
Well, a lot of them are set. Like if it's related to a project, like let's say a new website, there might be like 20 next actions there. And those don't even all have dates. But usually if it's part of a project, I'm setting up the project and like writing down everything that I need to do with that project. So I'm trying to think of an example of just like a next action that I need to do. Like I know I've got. I can go look.
So,
Or what are you asking?
well, I just didn't know if you fill this in every morning or if you have it like I need to figure out how big a drain pipe is to see if I can put a water softener in.
At your house?
Yeah.
That is probably a project because it's going to be more than just that. Like you also need to like actually hire someone to put it in then and call someone
Yeah,
about
okay.
pricing. So that would be a project. And so let's just start. Maybe that would be easier. Just start with a project.
Okay.
Because honestly, most of my next actions are part of projects. There's a
So on this, going back to the template we just did, so
Yeah.
everything like save it. Like if you don't have OK or save or anything on these, like as soon as you close out, it's like gone forever.
yeah. Don't make a mistake. It's gone forever. Yeah, it is saving like as you're making changes to it. And I'm not sure
So
there.
is it creating a second template up in the list, or is it actually duplicating over the one?
No, like if you can duplicate it, and we'll go through
So we were just editing
duplicating
out
some.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're just adding it, but there's a duplicate button here too. So let's add a project. So scroll down past today's next actions down to project. It doesn't actually matter. Project timeline or project triage. Either one is fine. And we can just click new, and that will be creating a new project. And there's only one template in there right now called new project. And this one, there's more to this here. If you remember the startup checklist, like define the purpose or reason for this project. And it just kind of, it helps keep the project focused on what it's meant to be and not get out of control. So I don't fill this out every time. Like sometimes I have a project that I don't think about it right away. I'm quickly trying to add it, and I don't always fill it out. But I try to, especially if it's for a client, and I know kind of what this is supposed to do and get done. I for sure will fill it out then. And like for your water softener,
Mm-hmm.
so like just for the sake of practice, let's just fill it out as if let's fill out the purpose for it. It's like why do you need a water softener?
So that I have nice water.
Okay. Well, I guess let's give it a name first. So replace or get new water softener. Water softener. And then see the area underneath the title.
Mm-hmm.
So if you would have, like for you, Theodore, like you might want to have like Florida home and Napanee home
Mm-hmm.
because it'd be nice to have those separate. So I would add a new area, like well, not for this time, but like if you would be doing something for Florida, I would do like a new area called Florida home. But for this one here, you would just hit home.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know when you want to start with this?
I mean, I talked to him today already.
Okay, then just put in like today's date to start, and then for the deadline, like when you want to have this done.
Yeah, in a month.
Okay, so September 12. And then, so yeah, what's the purpose for this water softener?
So I can have nice water, so that it doesn't make a mess everywhere because it's city water.
Nice soft water.
Just put on, I hate city water.
And what's the dream outcome?
Clean shower door. I don't know.
Uh,
No scale on anything.
Yeah, okay, there we go. No scale on anything. So, and depending what the project is, like sometimes I do actually go a lot more detailed for depending what it is. Now, underneath, like there's a brainstorm. So if you do need to brainstorm, that's a great place to do it. If you don't need to, I just delete it.
Brainstorm, you mean like just random things like, what if I put it here or...
Yeah, like sometimes I'll put in, so like brainstorm, I'll do location ideas, and then I'll put in, yeah, just a list of like where it could go, or maybe a brand ideas, and list out these are the 4 different brands or people that I might contact. And then sometimes I'll have checklists here too. It's like it might be sometimes this is up to you. Like what is a checklist versus what is a next action? So like you could have a next action could be call the contract or call the contractor, but you could also just have a checklist here that says like call contractor, get quote. It depends. Usually I base this off how much information I want to tie to that thing. So if I'm gonna if I'm expecting to call several contractors, I would for sure make that a next action because I want to like have their different pricing, and I don't want that just to be a little checkbox. But if I know who I'm going to call, sometimes I'll just make it just call contractor, get quote. It's up to you. Like you need to use it, in a way that makes sense for you.
Okay.
So now we basically did all this here. So we defined the purpose, we stated the dream outcome, we brainstormed ideas, we have a start date and deadline, and now organize next action and project resources. So if there would, for the sake of this, let's actually make these, instead of a checklist of like call the contractor, let's just make these next actions. So over in this tab here, these are the next actions for this project. And so they're grouped by like what's in progress, not started, or what's complete down here. So not started, obviously. Hit new page. Do you know who you're going to call?
I already Jags is who I called.
Did you get it?
So I did call. I mean, he came and looked at it today.
Okay.
So that is in progress. But
Okay.
whatever.
Okay, so I'll make that as in progress. Okay. What do you have to do next, Theodore? So call Jags.
Action. Oh, I need to figure out how big the drain is.
Okay. And here's one, like, little bit of it can be confusing with how Notion works. If I hit new page here, it's just going to open it up as a row, which is really handy. Like I hit new page.
New page, okay.
Like everything in Notion, like the database, like there's pages within the databases, so that's the generic term for stuff.
Okay.
That's really handy. However, you can also hit new up here, and it's also going to open and create a new next action. It's going to be linked to this project, but watch what happens when I click on it. Like, see, it says get new water softener. I click on it. Now the next action is like opened up, and it's not that hard to get back to it. Like here, let me say new one. I can get back to it pretty easily just by clicking this, or by hitting the back key will get me back to it. But it's just something to keep in mind. Whereas if I hit new page here, it's really quick to just like make a list of all the new next actions to add.
Okay. Got it.
And also, you can, let's say you forget to even, like, let's say you're in a next action, and just add a next action on the main page. You can then go into the next action and add what project it's for later on.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So let's say I'm here. Like this will make the deadline today because that's we were looking at what was due today. And so this is something for the water softener. And I can go down here to expand this to projects. And then it'll show me a list where I can search for it, water softener, and select it. And now if I go back to my projects, now it's not showing up here yet. And the reason it's not showing up here is because active is only showing projects that are in progress, and I did not set it as in progress yet.
Okay.
So, but if I go to home, it will show up there under home. And these are filters that you can change. Like you can change how these filters work. What else needs to happen, Theodore, with the
I need
water
to
softener?
call Steve Miller.
Is this for the water softener?
Yeah, it's for
Okay.
drain. Call Steve to see how big the drain is.
Drain size. Okay. Okay, is that it?
Yeah, that's the next thing I need to do.
And at some point, the Jags will install it then.
Yeah.
Okay. So we close this. Now, if we go up to like today's next actions, there's only one that shows up there because I didn't put a deadline on any of the other ones.
Okay.
So, and
So
go
the
ahead.
deadline is when it'll be into, or how do you get it in today's actions automatically?
It needs to have a deadline. Like only things that will show up in today's next actions is if there's a deadline for it.
Okay. And deadline is a range or an act or just one date?
Just one date.
Okay.
Projects have a start date and a deadline.
But actions would just have a deadline.
But
So if you
actions,
wanted-
yeah.
okay.
And sometimes like next actions might take several days, and I'll just move it. So if I come down here, here's next actions in calendar. So we just see the one there, and if I can just move it to like tomorrow,
You just drag.
just drag it over.
Okay.
Okay, Johnny, let's do one for you. What's a real project that you have going on or coming up?
Buy a vehicle.
Buy a vehicle?
Buy a vehicle.
Okay. So yeah, down to projects.
I'll do that too.
You know what? Just throw me in there.
Yeah, so area. I would probably do home.
Did you put this in timeline or triage? Like he
Like,
doesn't.
But
Like you just need a new vehicle soon here.
yeah.
Well, a project in its nature, it needs a start date and an end line or a deadline.
Okay.
So if I go to the project tab, do you go down and like under water? So like I did the water softener thing. You just hit new page underneath that, and it starts another one. Do you not go like? I'm just trying to follow where you're like. Is there a proper way to always be entering one, or do you have different avenues that you can get to that?
Yeah, like I'll add next actions in different places. So is that what you're asking?
Well, I'm looking at the projects tab that was on the right hand side of the screen,
So does your view look like
I went
like
there,
this?
Yeah, and then so do I just hit? Can I hit new page?
You can, yeah.
Right underneath there,
Yeah.
that'll do the exact same thing.
Yep.
I'm just looking the simplest, fastest, easiest way to get to stuff.
Yeah, it is a little confusing.
Because you're jumping all over the place. I was like, okay, I have no idea why.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
It's you have to get used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Right.
the
Right.
same
I get it.
color.
But I just want to
And something
make sure I'm following what you're doing.
like everything is over in databases. Like everything is either in a project, in a next action agenda. It's all in there somewhere. So if you ever can't find it, if you know it's the next action, go to next actions, click on the all tab, and then just search for it. If you still can't find it, you can just use their built-in search, which is really good.
Yeah.
But
the blueprint you're using though that's basically it's just laying it out in a format of what you should follow, like from the beginning of the day to the end, correct? And that's kind of what that's doing.
Well, the only part that's at the beginning of the day is just a daily review. The other stuff, the order, is just kind of what I need to look at.
Yeah.
And I guess today's next actions is probably like, but I'll look at this throughout the day. And yeah, I won't look at project timeline. I won't look at it every day.
Yeah.
And for sure, I won't look at the project triage. But yeah, as far as like buy new vehicle, like that could like maybe you want to do it, but you don't have like when you want to start looking and when you need to have it by. But yeah, I mean, I would go through this like checklist here of like defining like why do you need a new vehicle? What's the dream outcome?
Okay, walk me through it again. So
Okay.
where do we go to initially?
Normally,
You normally go through.
Normally, I would go over to my projects triage for something like this here. If it's a new project, because timeline is more to see like things that are already scheduled, which this is not something that's scheduled. And then I would just click the new button over here, and then I would start just by giving it a name.
So you would use this so do you use your regular calendar for anything?
I do. Like I actually don't use. Yeah,
So you use your regular calendar, but you use this to make sure you check your regular calendar or something. Like
kind of. It's the reminders in here to look at it, and the calendar view here is not like this is not date and time stuff like this is date stuff, but this just needs to happen this day or
Like,
tomorrow.
I feel like Dana, I'm trying to remember, like I think he uses this for all his appointments and everything, and like he'll look at it and see what stuff he has to do that day.
Okay, I don't put my appointments in here. My appointments I keep in just my normal Google Calendar.
I'm not sure. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. His was full. I don't know what he had in there, but
But you could have like meet with so and so, and have it in there.
I feel like that might be something to do. Is just put everything in one.
Yeah. I don't think you can put.
A time.
Oh, there, include time. I guess you can choose a time in there. I normally have that off, like not to include the time because I don't use it that way, but you could use it that way. And so for this water softener thing, like all of a sudden,
Well, I like that. I can just keep pushing up to the next day. That's nice.
So if all of a sudden I switch that to like waiting for, and I need to change the date. So hang on. Let's
Okay.
let's try this back to like it's due today, and if I change it to like which so right now it's showing up right here under today's actions right here. But if I go and change it, open it, and then say context is now waiting for, all of a sudden it's not in this list anymore, but it is on this tab here.
Okay. And will that show up every day?
Yeah, it'll stay there as long as it's due or overdue.
Okay, so if they're overdue, they don't disappear.
No.
Okay.
If it's not complete.
Okay. Yeah.
Once it's complete, it will go away. And to get in that top like MIT, like there's just a checkbox for it, and that will just move it depending on which list it's part of. Does that make sense? So you can, if it's an MIT, it shows up in this top list up here. If it's not, it'll show up in this bottom list down here.
Okay. One thing I'm not too sure about is everything's the exact same color.
So I made it that way as the blueprint just so that it's very like plain and uniform. But you can for sure go and change it.
Okay.
Like you could change like daily review colors. There's icons related to every type of thing. So like if you look at like projects have a different icon, next actions are different, agendas are different. They're all different. And that's nice just to help visually glance at something and know what it is. But you can change, you have to change it in several places, but you can change it. But for sure the background, like you could easily, like if you do want to change this from gray,
You can make it red, yellow, orange.
yeah, color, yeah. If you click on the block and then color, then yeah, you can change it.
Okay.
But I think I could see myself doing that kind of.
Yeah.
Color.
The one other thing that I want to talk about is recurring tasks. And the best way would be like to do it with an example. So I know like pay property taxes would be one, or does someone have something where like every week or every month or every 6 months you need to do something?
Gotta put stuff down my drain to stop the tree roots from going in.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
How often?
Whenever they get plugged.
Every 3-4 years. Let's just say I would have them out more than once.
Uh-oh.
So
But I think you're supposed to. Well, my parents did like every month, for sure, like every 3 months.
So to do a recurring next action, we have to create a template for it, and you can set templates to automatically create themselves. So you hit the drop down.
Where you're to need next actions.
Yeah, and normally I would start just by duplicating an existing one because it has some stuff that's already there. So I just duplicate the current one here and then change its name. So normally, like if let's say you would do this every month, so I would call it like monthly water drain cleaning, something like that. And then in the orange bar at the top, there's like that drop down that says repeat every, and you can change that to.
Oh, you're in editing.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Okay.
You're making a template. And this is an action template.
Yeah. So duplicate like the existing one that's there, the default.
Okay, now. Okay.
You won't have that blue line.
But well, let's say there's a bunch of stuff you do every month. Do you have to make a template for each one?
Well, it depends on what, like, so if you can group them together, you don't have to. But if they're very different, then yeah, I probably have a dozen.
Okay. Well, you can't just make a template for stuff you do every month.
Well, that's what we're doing.
I'm saying one template for everything.
Things I do every month, and then have a list underneath that. You're saying.
You could do that
Well,
too.
I
If
don't
they
know.
happen, like if they can happen at the same day or the same
Okay, so it
time.
has to happen the same.
Well,
That's what you
the
make
template is like. Otherwise,
yeah. I mean, go ahead.
I mean, you could, yeah, you could have one template and then just change the name to, like, let's say, what are some of the examples you have?
Like change batteries in something once a month, or trying to think of monthly things I do.
I would probably do it separate because otherwise you have to create multiple. Like, how do you know? Well, I guess I would do them separate for the
Okay.
most part. If it's like
Okay.
unless it's like 100 things,
Yeah.
like if you can consolidate, if there's like 5 things that need batteries replaced, like maybe like one replace batteries
Would you do
template.
one that's like a project per month, like the same project every month with different different actions in that project?
Hmm.
So you could do that, I guess. If it's kind
But
of the
this
same
is
project.
something that reoccurs.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like, what? Oh, that's another thing I need to do every month. I'll go to the reoccurring month template and the reoccurring week template for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and add it as a checklist item.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, so far I've just started adding new recurring templates for the different kinds of things. Kind of. I guess one difference is every month I do uh, marketing reports
Mhm.
for 2 different clients, and I just have one. I have one template for both of them.
Okay. And you, but
And
you
I-
make 2 different tasks out of that template.
No, I
or
don't.
not?
No,
Okay.
I just have like, and I have different sections on that one next action. It's just the action is called monthly marketing report videos, and then there's 2 different sections. One's for one client, one's for another one.
Hmm.
And I do them the same day, so like it's not like it would be spread out over a couple weeks.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess yeah. Let's do this for his.
Okay, so monthly water drain cleaning. So are you guys in the template
How
now?
do you
Yeah.
get to the editing part again?
Right click. If you
Doing the arrow.
initially duplicate your default one, and then it will open up in the editing. If you right click or not right click, just click.
Do not have
Oh,
You need to unlock
is it locked?
It's
Okay,
locked.
okay.
What?
Can you show how?
Yeah, it's like see how it says it's locked there to that. So unlock for me. There you go. And then do that, and then you'll have and then duplicate it.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, it worked on the other one. I must have liked it somehow.
No,
No, he
initially
actually
I had a bunch of them locked, and then because I didn't think people would be editing stuff, and I didn't think about everything.
Mm.
So I went through and I thought I unlocked everything, but obviously I missed one area. Okay, so now yeah, change the name. You can call it whatever you want to. And then change like repeat every. So I would do it. You can do every month or every 3 months, but so pick whichever one you want to. And then it'll ask when you want to start. So if it's for like next month, you could make it the first, but it actually doesn't matter. You can keep it as you can say it's starting tomorrow, which is like the default thing. And I would the at around midnight. I would keep that. That way, like in the morning when you get to it, like it'll be there. And it can take. I have seen it take 15 minutes sometimes before it gets created, like from when it's supposed to. But that's usually why I leave it at midnight. So you hit save, and now it'll say repeat every month or every 3 months. And then here's something that I would recommend doing. Like under your startup checklist, I would have an item to like rename it to include the month and year. And this is just how I am. So like, I'm not saying everyone, you might not want to do this, but normally what I would do is I would say name your next action by including the month, and actually I would normally do like the year and month. And then, for example, 2025 June, and then like trail off to like whatever it's supposed to be. And the reason I do this is just in case I want to add notes into this one here. I will then know, like I can look at the name and know, oh, this was one for June 2025, or this is one from August 2026. And the reason I would do the year in front is just so like for sorting kind of. If you ever want to like sort them, you can sort it by year and then by month more easily. But that's kind of, it's up to you. Like if you want to like go that anal. Name your next, yeah. And you can customize this. So now like this is not going to be part of a project, but I would probably do, so this is going to show up on the first. So normally what I would do is assign this to later this week when I can get to it. Or I would put something in there where I'm going to assign it for when I can get to it. I can look at some of my real examples that might be helpful. I think I will. So this is my weekly bookwork one.
Okay.
Actually, let me do the one monthly marketing report. This is the one I was actually talking about. Oh, I didn't mean to edit it. Or I didn't mean to open. I created a new one here, but here's my startup checklist. So update the name to include the date. Use the year and month. For example, 2025 May. Move deadline sometime this week. And I just have a note here defaults to when it was created. Like the template defaults to that. And then I have delete initial setup checklist when complete. So once I do that, I have it scheduled for later this week. I'll just delete this whole thing. And now here's the actual like checklist that I'm doing for it. So like send phone number due video report and like some other small steps within there. What?
Now, okay.
You started saying something.
I'm confused. The repeating every month, what is that? What is it repeating?
It's going to create itself.
Okay.
But it's just going to be like the template is. Like there's nothing filled out. It's like whatever the template is.
Where does that show up?
Is that what you're clearing, correct? Like when you go back in, like at the beginning of the day, is that what you were?
I'm not sure.
Like
your
your daily
inboxes,
tasks.
you clear all your different stuff. and
No.
then this is populating the next.
No.
Is
So
that theory?
Next.
here. So here is here's my weekly bookwork. So this every Monday we'll edit this one here.
Every Monday.
It's gonna take me a long time to get used to this, and I'm like, when am I gonna do it?
Well, just start by
Every day.
like yeah.
A little bit every day.
do it every day, and then if you see an email that you need to do something with, add it either as a project reference, like if it's related to a project you don't want to forget. Like I'll have conversation threads with Brandon at PWI, and if it's going to go back and forth for a while, and I know it's going to go back and forth, I'll just link to it in a project resource and say email thread with Brandon about X or whatever. And I can quickly just like click on it and go back to that email. I don't have to search my email trying to find it. Like I don't do it for every email I get.
I know. I didn't know you could link email. That's cool.
I mean, it's just for you. Like it wouldn't if you share that link with me, it wouldn't work for me.
Yeah.
Here's the weekly bookwork one. So this one's more intense. Oh, maybe not. So it's called weekly bookwork, and then the startup checklist is update the name to include the date. Because this one's weekly, I didn't want to do 2025. I didn't know how to do it, so I just do that. That's the format I use, like 1/3/25. I'll put it at the beginning, and then I'll move the deadline to like sometime later this week when I'm going to get to it. And then here's the checklist: like make deposits, allocate funds, reconcile, pay contractors, cancel something, review Nicholas's payroll. Monthly, there's different stuff. Oh yeah, who to invoice monthly. So that's, even though this is coming up every weekly, I don't do the monthly stuff. I'll just delete it. And then the first time I do it at the beginning of the month, I'll do this stuff here. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But okay, where does this show up?
Well, this is the template, but it will show up. It repeats every week on Monday at midnight. So when I start working on Monday morning, there's a new thing in here because it's due today. It's going to show up in today's next actions. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'll go through all my next actions for the day, and I'll see weekly bookwork, and then I'll just click on it, and I'll like add the date to the beginning of the name. And that's just like, I don't have to do that. It's just if I ever want to go back and look at it, like if I go back and look at all my next actions, and I'm looking for weekly bookwork, so let's go to all. Weekly. If I wouldn't have the name there, it would just say weekly bookwork, weekly bookwork, weekly bookwork. Like it would have the deadline with it, but that's a personal preference. You don't have to do that. I like to add the date to recurring stuff.
Okay.
And sometimes even big projects like if we'd be doing a home remodel, I would call it 2025 home remodel versus just home remodel, which we might do it again in a few years. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does make sense.
One thing. So I made that next action, but I made the template. So is that template gonna show up, you're saying, or how is that gonna work?
It will show up like a new page, as if you were clicking on it. So if you would go,
Like it doesn't show up on my calendar.
Okay, and that's because we didn't put a deadline into it.
So you do.
And you can do
It's reoccurring. What deadline you put in?
you can set it to the current day. So whenever it's created, it would be set for that day. So go back to edit it, the template.
Yeah.
And then in the deadline, you would now would include the time. So just do the today, the second option.
And to hit deadline, right there, hit that deadline. Click the go up a little bit.
Oh,
No, sorry. Below that's it, empty, yeah. And then hit the today one. Right there, hit down. And then so every time the deadline is made, it'll be for that day.
okay.
Then it'll pop up in your
And
calendar.
if you
So I
go,
won't see it till it actually comes up.
yeah.
Okay.
And that is the one
Downside?
the one downside. Like you can't always see stuff that's going to happen in 3 months, like recurring stuff in 3 months from now. Like on your calendar, if you set a recurring thing, you'll see it. Like it'll show up on your calendar.
Yeah.
So it won't do that here.
It won't. And so that usually I've got some recurring ones that start at the beginning of the year. For example, I think like our taxes one. And I just have it, the template, I think I have it set up where it's going to tell me duplicate this for the fall installment, or like that way I think I did that for some of the stuff because I wanted to see some of the stuff coming up before the day.
Well, I guess can
Does
you
that make
a
sense?
project reoccurring?
Yeah, you can.
So that would be because that would show up on your calendar, right?
No.
Well, what's
Projects will show up on the timeline. Projects timeline, but they won't show up on the calendar. Only the next actions will show up in the calendar.
Only next projects. For what?
Only next actions
Next
show up in the
action.
calendar. And the project's timeline is just for projects.
So
What are you under? Or go ahead, Theodore.
well, what did you make reoccurring then?
It was the next action.
And okay. Only wait, what did you say? I thought you said actions show up in calendar,
They do.
but not when it's made. And not until it's made.
Correct.
Okay.
Like a template won't show up in the calendar.
Okay. But you can't make
Like when it recreates itself, then it will if there's a deadline with it.
I'm
What's confusing?
like why can't you make I'm confused why you're editing a template and not making a project reoccur. Or
What would you want? Like, where maybe it'd be better. Explain what you want to do. That doesn't seem possible.
well, it seems possible. I'm just okay, so like right now every single day I have like feed horses, let me see once. Like listen to Psalm or Proverbs. Which that doesn't really matter. Well, like okay, the one thing change air filters in AC. Like if I would want to know like a week ahead of time, or that's not that important either. Again.
Well, and that's why I usually set the monthly ones. I usually have created on the first day of the month, and then when I see it, I'll put it either that week or in 2 weeks from now is actually when I'll schedule it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that does make sense. Okay.
What's making more sense this time than the first time?
Just like the projects didn't make sense to me.
Projects.
Yeah, like I was using I was mostly just using next actions. Like I would just use like I gotta do stuff behind my shed. That is the next action. I did mulch run sheets. Next action. I did go to Ace and buy sealer. Next action. I did all these different next actions, but I didn't understand the projects. Like the projects had next actions. I moved a bunch of these next actions into projects.
Okay, so let's say you have a bunch of stuff on your house that you want to do. Would you make a project like home improvement? Even though it's random stuff. One is mulch, one is like sealing windows.
I would probably use multiple projects where, like, let's say, like, if it's stuff outside, like landscaping, spring landscaping, like maybe I would do that, and then like mulch, trim the trees, whatever. And then for stuff that's in the house, I would do a separate project for that because the timeline is probably going to be different with it,
Yeah.
and the things I need are going to be different for it.
Mhm.
Hey, one thing we didn't talk a lot about, and it was actually the first step I took with this GTD system, is general resources. I started using that a couple of years ago, and that was huge. Like, just when you find a website or when you find how to do something, or you either figure it out or you find out how to do it, just like save it in your project resource, and it's so easy to share with other people. I noticed that it's not collaborative, but the general resources are pretty easy to share with people. I do it all the time with Nicholas, with clients, and they can just like follow the guides I've created or see how to do something.
Oh, okay, Reuben. So let's say like I want to service vehicles once a year, like my dirt bike, my 4-wheeler,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to make sure it reminds me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just make a new template that happens every year.
I probably would. And you could, if you're going to do them like the same week, I would probably just have one
Okay.
for all of them. But if you know you don't want to do them, like you want to do them like spread out through the year, then you could
Yeah, cool.
you could have one template that recurs every 3 months, and then you could just like have kind of a mental note that this is the one that
For this.
you already did the motorcycle, so now you're doing the dirt bike, then you're doing the 4-wheeler or whatever. And there's one other. There's a lot more that Notion can do. Like there's a lot of cool things it can do. Like there's something called synced blocks. So you could have a block that that's going to be in each of your templates that gets created. And whatever you put in that synced block, it's like a container. Like you'll see it on every new template that's created. So in that sync block, you could have the last one I did was the motorcycle.
Okay.
And so the next one is the dirt bike.
Okay.
The way I use it is I have this, it's for managing Google Ads, and I have like I write in updates that happen every twice a month. I'll like write, there's a next action, and like I'll add an update to it. But sometimes there's things I want to remember from the previous, they kind of carry over. And so I have a sync block that I just put in like general notes that kind of sync back and forth. And that way I don't have to go back to the old note. It's just like one thing I want to remember to do. I don't have to go back and like read the whole thing. I can just like have that short note that always going to be synced with the new one that gets created.
So all those templates that you have, those are just stuff you're gonna probably be creating an extra action in, or the ones you've done once and they just stay there?
These are all templates. And so the ones that have the circle, the blue arrows,
Recurring.
those are they're recurring. They're automatically going to be created. So this annual camp,
But you don't see any of those ahead of time, right? But
no.
they all pop up the date of or whatever.
Yeah. And so I try to make them pop up in advance so I can schedule it when I want to do them.
So you could just make it a week early and say, whatever, a week until this is due or something, or like your taxes, whatever.
Here's the taxes one. Pay quarterly Fed and state estimated taxes.
That's where you. What would you go?
So I have it set.
Allow you to set a reminder. That's kind of crazy. Like, everything else has the ability to set a reminder. Like you can set it for a week before; it'll alert you a week before or something. Along those lines.
You could turn on a reminder here.
But does it not work very well on the calendar?
It would, but
You don't like reminders.
I don't like reminders. Like this is gonna show up here, and then I'll see it, and then I have it set up where it'll happen early enough that I can then schedule it when I want to do it. Like it's not I don't have it set like the day that they're due. And here's
But you need to put that information somewhere. That's what I'm saying. Like, so why would you not date it for the date that it's due, and then have the reminder leading you to it?
because I want to look at it in the morning when I look at it. I don't want to like have a notification pop up and tell me.
But if you would.
But I'm saying,
But you could.
If
You
that
could.
was my preference, that's yeah.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. Yeah, you could. Like right here in that, this is the template. So the deadline is today. And today is like when it's created.
Mhm.
And so it's created every 3 months on the 1st. So like June 1st. So September, November, September. Yeah, September is when it would get created. And if I would write down here, have a reminder on day of event.
So it does give you, so it gives you a week before.
Yeah.
Like I guarantee you, if you go look at Dana's, it's probably a lot different than what you.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a reminder to the reminder to the reminder.
It's like I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody just.
No, it is.
Yeah.
The more I'm looking at it, the more it is making sense, but it's.
So, and for this one here, this startup checklist, I again have like 2025 Q1 for these here, and then here are like the actual like I don't have to look at like all the information is here that I need to pay it. I think. As far as like sometimes it's like hard to like know which website you go to pay for it, so I like linked in like the link to it.
Do you have an accountant? Do you figure out your own taxes?
No, Trish told me how much,
Oh.
but I meant like where to go to pay it.
You paid online.
Yeah, but it's different, and it's not always super clear where to go pay it. Tomorrow morning, like just do like add the new daily review thing. Look at your calendar, and if there's something that like needs an action, like add it as a next action. And eventually, sometimes it is a judgment call. Like, should this be part of a project? Should it not? And like just use it, and then as you use it, you'll get a better feel for like what should be a project, what should just be a next action.
If it's anything like what I use my computer for work, I've made my thing, my homepage, whatever, and then I've remade it like 6 times since I've started because I like it this way and also I like it this way.
Yeah.
You just kind of figure out what you actually want it.
But it
Yeah.
seems very customizable. I think that's what was scary
Yeah.
at the beginning. Was like, oh, if you miss,
It seems like
you just erase something wrong, and you're all like,
yeah, right, yes.
But you'll know, like now that it's yours, like you'll know. I don't want to delete that. That's my truck. Buy a new truck. There are some cool ways to kind of do stuff. Like one, I'm trying to let me find a real project. Like often there's like updates that happen to things as I'm working on it. This is probably an example of one. No.
I can actually see this working.
Here's kind of one. This is shorter than normal, but I'll often create, so troubleshoot why Woo is not sending emails from Commerce. And so I just added like a heading for like updates. And then last Friday is when I started this here. So I added a toggle block, which basically is like a bullet list, but it can hide stuff in it. And then these were like some of the things I was checking or plugins I was deactivating to see if they were the issue. And then on today, I guess, today there was another one. I just said like reply. Yeah, I got an email back from one of the support people, and I replied to it. And if I work on this tomorrow, I would go over here and do a new toggle. Oh, that's what I started telling you. Like,
How do you create a toggle? Use tab.
yeah, the arrow, that arrow thing, and then space bar. And if you type in like at today, it's going to put in today's date. It'll say today, but if you click on it, it's actually, if I click on it now, it says tomorrow or next Tuesday. And you can type that in too. You can type
I was
in
gonna say, why wouldn't you just put it
next Tuesday, and it just like does that.
Also, if you hit enter, Reuben, hit enter, and then you do this dash
Slash.
you can do all these different things. Like it'll like tell you.
Like there is a to do here.
You just type in to do list and it'll pop up to do list.
To do, and you hit
With
enter.
the actual-
Item 1, item 2. But that is stuff like, that's like just very Notion specific, but it's very like, it's a fun tool to use because it's really powerful. And you can link to stuff really easily too. So like, let's say troubleshoot why Woo is not sending is somehow related to my new truck, buy new vehicle. So I can click on it, and now if I click on this here, it actually opens up that thing in buy new vehicle. So like sometimes there's, you can like, sometimes you just want to like link and reference stuff back and forth, and it's very easy to do that. Oops. And if you go like if you create a new one here and you're like, I did not mean to do that, you can just delete it from here somewhere, move the trash. Something else that is helpful, and you might not remember this, but adding things to favorites. If I quickly, and even my favorites list is updated frequently. If you hit the star button, it will show up on your favorites, which are on your sidebar right here, which is especially handy on your phone, because on the phone, it's the hardest to use on your phone. So if there's a page or a certain like next action or something that you want, oh, my phone's over there. There's a widget that will show your favorites, and so that's the way I like. That's how I use it on my phone most often. Is like I'm usually looking for a thing that I get to often, so I just open it up with the widget and then click on the favorites thing. But yeah, definitely, if you feel like there's promise, you can see how it would be good for it. Like do it tomorrow morning. Like start with the daily review and just go through your email inboxes, and as things come up you need to do, add it as the next action. And if they're just start using it, and you'll figure out you'll probably figure out new ways to use it that I hadn't even thought of before, or maybe come up with different workflows to make things work together. But yeah, that's all that I've got.